Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 15 is entitled as Purushottama Vidya, Purushottama Yogam. Sloka 6, Part 3. Na tat bhāsayate sūryo, na śaśāṅko na pāvakaḥ, yad gatvā na nivartante, dhāma paramaṁ. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. In the previous session, we saw the qualities of spiritual world. Number 1, it possesses only sattva guna, that is, it is made of purely sattva guna without any mix and traces of rajoguna and tamoguna. Number 2, the spiritual world is the place where avidya, which is the karma, is completely eradicated. These are the two lakshanas of Nitya Vibhuti, spiritual world. And the Prakriti is quite opposite to these two attributes. It possesses all the three gunas, and karmas are active here in this material world. Then we ended the session with a question that why even we need to accept that there is a spiritual world, or maybe the spiritual world is just a concept, it is not a reality. There are schools of thought that have different opinion about the spiritual world or about mukti. For example, as per Nyaya Shastra, mukti means when one becomes totally unaffected by anything around him, become totally unaware of anything that's happening around him, like a rock, a state of a rock, which is not disturbed, affected, changes, nothing, it just stays still. And that stage is considered as a liberated state, mukti, as per Nyaya Shastra. And there are other school of thought which consider becoming one with God as the mukti. Not that there is a place called Vaikunta, Paramapada. Whereas other school, they have an understanding that mukti means keep raising, the Atma leaves the body and keep traveling continuously upward. There's no end to it. That is mukti. Whereas some other school says that becoming non-existence is mukti. So there are schools of thoughts where they do not accept that there is a spiritual world, Vaikunta. But that is not what is being accepted by the Upanishad. Upanishad clearly says Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Sūrayaha, meaning that great abode of Vishnu's is always looked upon by the Nitya Suris. The eternally liberated souls are always looking upon the abode of Vishnu, Vishnu's abode. This clearly says that Paramapadam, the spiritual world, Nitya Vibhuti, Vaikunta, is in fact a place. It is not a concept, nor it is not the Lord Himself. There is a place exists as Nitya Vibhuti, Of course, there is nothing wrong to say that one reaching the Supreme Lord is mukti, liberation. Or we can say one reaches the Supreme Abode, that is mukti. Or we can also say getting total rid of pāpa karma and punya karma is mukti. Certainly, all these are correct statements, but we need to understand in what context these are used. So mukti, liberation, doesn't only mean that one attains the Lord, not just one gets rid of karmas. It is also to be understood that one reaches the spiritual world. To get rid of pāpa punya and be with the Lord in His service is mukti. Because the Upanishad very clearly says that the devatas look upon Vishnu's abode. That to be noted here, Vishnu's abode, not Vishnu himself as abode. Therefore, we must know that the spiritual world exists and it is different from the Lord himself. They are two entities. Now, we have understood that the spiritual world is a place that exists. It is made of Shuddha Sattva, and it is the place where avidya is completely removed, destroyed. Now the next thing that we need to understand is that Shuddha Sattva has its other level of 5 elements by which this Nitya Vibhuti, the spiritual world, is made of. The spiritual world is also referred as Pancha Upanishad Mayaha or Pancha Shakti Mayaha. Let's see what does it mean. Pancha means 5, Upanishad means Upanishad, Mayaha means made of. That is, the spiritual world is made of 5 Upanishad. When we say Upanishad, it is not Chandogya Upanishad, Isho Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. That is not the Upanishad that we are talking here. The meaning of Upanishad is secret name. In the Vedas, there are 5 secret names which are mentioned, which denotes the 5 elements, bhutams, panchabhuta. They are parameshti, puman, vishvaha, nivartante and sarvaha. Just as in Lila Vibhuti, that is in the material world, we have 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and ether that are born from Prakriti. Similarly, Nitya Vibhuti, the spiritual world, also has 5 elements: parameshti, puman, vishvaha, nivartante and sarvaha, that are made of Shuddha Sattva. Whereas the 5 elements of Prakriti is made of 3 gunas: Sattva guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So let's clearly understand the differences between these elements that seem to be identical, which is present in the material world, Lila Vibhuti, and the spiritual world, Nitya Vibhuti. The one which is here in this material world is by Mishra Sattva, and the ones which are in the spiritual world is by Shuddha Sattva. Let's understand their differences with an example. Say we have a big golden bar and a huge lump of clay. With a golden bar, we can make a golden plate, golden glass, golden bowl, golden spoon. Likewise, using the lump of clay, we can make a clay plate, clay glass, clay bowl and a clay spoon. So, at the end, we have two sets of them. 2 plates, 2 glasses, 2 bowls and 2 spoons. They are pretty much used for the same purpose. But they are not equal, because one is made of gold and the other is made of clay. Though they serve the same purpose, their qualities varies. One is plate that of gold, the other is plate that of clay. Therefore, both cannot become equal. Likewise, in this material world, we have the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and ether. And also in the spiritual world, there are 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and ether. With the 5 elements of this world, one can build homes, gopurams, etc. Similarly, with the 5 elements of the spiritual world, the buildings and gopurams and etc. are made. But the difference is, they are not equal. That which is made with the 5 elements in the spiritual world is Shuddha Sattva, whereas one which is made over here in this material world is Mishra Sattva, that is from the Prakriti, known as Prakrita Pancha Bhuta. These 5 elements in the material world which comes from Prakriti, therefore they are known as Prakrita Pancha Bhutam. Whereas the 5 elements in the spiritual world is made of Shuddha Sattva, which is not from the Prakriti. Therefore, it is known as Aprakrita Pancha Bhuta. Again, the 5 elements of this world is Prakrita Pancha Bhuta, whereas the 5 elements of the spiritual world is Aprakrita Pancha Bhuta. The difference is A has been added to Prakrita. Prakrita means that which comes from Prakriti. Aprakrita means it is not from the Prakriti, which means they are free from Rajoguna and Tamoguna, but purely of Shuddha Sattva. And the name that has been mentioned, Parameshti, Puman, Vishvaha, Nivartante and Sarvaha. These names are considered secret names, Pancha Upanishad Mayaha. One may think that the 5 elements of this world are the same which is there in the spiritual world. But we need to know that the elements of this world could never enter into the spiritual world. Say, I have my latest and greatest cell phone. I can't carry that to the spiritual world. It can't even touch or enter into that world, as things over there are aprakrita, non-material. In other words, everything over there is spiritual. None of these materials in this world can ever enter into the spiritual world, because things of this world are prakrita. Things of that world is aprakrita. For example, when we enter the customs immigration of United States traveling from a different country, they ask if we carry any seeds, food, plants, etc. As those are not allowed into United States. Likewise, things of this world, Leela Vibhuti, which are the products of Prakriti, that is, made of Mishra Sattva, will not be allowed into the spiritual world. The only one who is eligible to enter into the Nitya Vibhuti, the spiritual world, is Jivatma. None other things are allowed into that realm. Therefore, we should be very clear that the 5 elements over there in the spiritual world is not the ones here in this material world, which are made of Prakriti. These 5 elements of the spiritual world has those tanmatras, pancha tanmatras within them. As we have learned earlier, that Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, that is sound, touch, form, taste and smell, are present in the 5 elements that we have. Namely, the ether has Shabda. The air has both Shabda and Sparsha. The fire has Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa. The water has Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa. And the earth has Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Similarly, the 5 elements of the spiritual world also has the same. Parameshti has sound, Puman has sound and touch, Vishvaha has sound, touch and form, Nivartihi has sound, touch, form and taste, Sarvaha has sound, touch, form, taste and smell. But a major difference is that these elements in the spiritual world are not ordinary ones like those in this world, in the material world. They are divine, divya, transcendental. It is transcendental because in this world we have smell, but it could be good smell or bad smell. We have forms. It could be beautiful form or ugly. We have taste. Taste could be good taste or bad taste. Sound. Sound could be pleasing or terrible because they are prakrita, from Prakriti, which is Mishra Sattva. But in the spiritual world, these 5 elements, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, are divine, which means there is nothing which is bad over there. The sound is divine, the touch is divine, the form is divine, the taste is divine, and the smell is divine. Since the whole Nitya Vibhuti, the spiritual world, is made up of these 5 divine elements, which has 5 secret names, Nitya Vibhuti is referred as Pancha Upanishad Mayaha, that which is made up of 5 divine elements which has 5 secret names: Parameshti, Puman, Vishvaha, Nivartaha, Sarvaha. These 5 elements are also referred as Shaktis, and so the spiritual world is also called as Pancha Shakti Mayaha, that which is made up of 5 Shaktis. To summarize, what you have learned today is the material world is known as Mishra Sattva and the spiritual world is known as Shuddha Sattva. The spiritual world is made of 5 divine elements which has the secret names Parameshti, Puman, Vishvaha, Nivartaha and Sarvaha. In our next session, we will learn where this spiritual world located and what is the size of the spiritual world. Namaste. Hare Krishna.